Welcome to another series of Behind the Tool. This series is to show you how to use specific tools to help my new tech VAs out there. You see, I've been in the digital marketing field since 2013, and it took me a long time to figure things out, but you get to learn the secrets and shortcuts and tips a lot faster than I did, right? That's my purpose of creating this series. So today I'm going to show you how to set up HubSpot CRM. Okay, and if this is your first time on this channel, my name is Roxanne and I am the founder of Marketing Tech Mama. My mission with this YouTube channel is to help 100 moms to be able to work from home as a technical VA, right? It helped and changed my life, and I want to show you the tools and tips so that you can change your life as well. All right, so if you aren't familiar with HubSpot, I would have to say I had a basic understanding with it previously, but in recent years, I've had more clients using it. And I have to say, it's definitely becoming one of my favorite CRMs, really, hands down. Their reports are awesome, their attribution is good because I have a lot of clients that need this for their ads and stuff like that. So their attribution is really important. Their landing pages are fast. I just really like it. And I work with a lot of different tools on a daily basis. Okay. And this is definitely one of my favorites. But today we're going to talk about the CRM portion of HubSpot. And I find that it's pretty straightforward to use. You know, the thing about HubSpot is it's not the most cheapest plan out there. They do have a free version, but obviously is limited. But if clients and people are actually going to be able to hire you for it, if they're able to afford like the paid version of HubSpot, they are going to be able to afford to hire you for it for sure. Okay. So I created a video that will show you like the basic principles of setting up any CRM. Okay, it applies to any software. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out here. But the principles that I discussed in that video, I'm going to just share that with you here. So we're going to go over it is knowing how to send emails, right? Knowing where the forms are, knowing where tags are, knowing where sequences and automations, that kind of stuff are, and also knowing like where their reports are because they're always going to want to know any client that's going to hire you for this, they're going to want to know what's my numbers, right? So let's dive in and I'm going to show you these components uh for each of these components but for HubSpot. Okay, so now we're going to get started and I'm going to show you the components that I just talked about. Okay, so this is a free account. This is a test account that I have. This is not real, but this is just the purpose so that I can show you guys how it actually looks like. Okay, so the first thing that I said is you got to be able to know how to send emails. Okay, and in HubSpot, you go to marketing and then email, right? And it's right here. But it'll let you send 2,000 emails per month, you know, and you can create 25 static and 5 smart lists and basic report for free. So I would hit get started and I would just go through all of this. I'm not going to go through this now because, again, this is not a real account that I am using at all. But you would go to marketing, you would go to emails, and you will go into that platform, into that part of the software. And that's how you can create an email. It's going to ask you like what contacts to send it to, right? That's kind of the basic thing that happens on all platforms. It's like add your content. They're probably going to allow you to either upload a template or you can create your own templates, right? And who are you going to send it to? Um, when do you want to send it, right? That's kind of the standard when it comes to that. So now the next item that I talk about are forms. So for forms, you're going to go to marketing. And on this one, since it's the free one, it's on the bottom. But I've also seen clients' accounts where it's also, I think it's something else down here, and then the forms will pop up on the side. So, but it's definitely in the marketing category. So, we're going to hit forms, and why forms are important is because that's how you're going to capture the information, right? That way, you can take the form and you can put it on any landing page. And that's what, when you take the form of the CRM and you embed it on any landing page, it doesn't even have to be a HubSpot landing page, even though HubSpot landing pages are good. You can put it on ClickFunnels, you can put it on WordPress, right? And since you have the actual form from the CRM, you know for sure it is going to directly integrate and come into uh HubSpot, right? You don't have to hope. You can use Zapier, but sometimes Zaps break. So generally, when I'm able to, I'd rather take the form and embed it on the page. So you can come here, you can create the form, and they're going to give you different styles, right? Do you want to embed it, right, as part of your website? You can also put it as a standalone page where you can just have people go directly to a link. It depends on why you're using that. Probably the most common one is going to be an embed form and a pop-up box, right? And the pop-up box is just kind of what that is it'll pop up. You can have it click on a button and then it'll pop up, right? And then people can enter their information that way. With the embedded form, it's they go to a page, the information that you need, like name, email, that stuff is already embedded on the page. So they're not going anywhere else. They have a drop down banner, which is kind of cool. It'll drop down from the top of the screen and you can slide it in left or right depending on what you want. I'm going to do embedded form because that's the most popular one. And again, they have templates and stuff for you to use, but generally if you're going to embed a form, you don't really need to worry about how it looks too much because they're not going to see these other elements in other areas. So I'm going to hit start because I'm going to do a blank template. And then they have, right, the information that you want to get. Generally, the most common thing that you want to get is like first name and email. That's usually what it is. And if you want, I would definitely make this a required field, right? Because that's the contact property. That's gonna HubSpot's a little different from that. They use properties and contact properties or deal properties to know how to gather information. So it's a little more advanced, so I won't dive too deep into that. Okay, so once I have this, then I'm going to go to options. And options are, you can collect payments, but again, we're not trying to use this. You can have it once someone submits the form, you can just say, hey, thanks for submitting the form, or you can change the messaging however you want to look. Or you can be like, hey, I want this to go to another page, right? And I can add an external link, add it here, so that when people opt into the form, it's going to go in a particular place. But you would set that here. Okay, that's where that happens. And then this one is set lifestyle cycle stage. So you can put as a subscriber or a lead, a marketing qualified lead, a sales qualified lead, an opportunity, customer evangelist, or others, right? You can pick what you want. I would say for the beginning, it would probably be either subscriber or lead. And there's a big difference between marketing qualified lead and sales qualified lead, but I'm not going to go into that today because that's not the point of this video. So you can have follow-up options, but we can leave that alone. We can send submission notifications. I would definitely disable that because that will clog up your inbox when you're always getting an email that this person opted in, this person opted in. It just gets kind of annoying. I wouldn't do that unless this form is like a very specific, like, so only time I would do something like that is I've had a client where I needed to be notified when a payment for their mastermind was made. So that's why I would send a notification to myself so that I don't have to come in and check. I know when I get an email that, because I was part of the follow up. So I needed to follow up with this person, right? I know to check a lot of the background operation stuff. Okay, so that's pretty much it on here, right? You can pre-populate, which I think is good. That means if you're already sending it in an email, and you send somebody to this form and they're like, oh yeah, we already have your information, it's just going to pre-populate it. So I would definitely use that. You can also put this is create a new contact when a new email address is in here. So I think that's good. You can do that as well. All right, so then a style and preview. Again, this is how the form is going to look like. They're just showing these other grayed out areas just so you can see, right? And you can just change all of this. You can change like the sizing if you need to or anything else. Automation, it says new, but you have to upgrade and have the pay plan. And again, if you have a client that's hiring you for HubSpot, more than likely, like they have the paid plan. They're not going to hire you for the free one. If they have the free one, that means they're trying to figure it out themselves. Okay. And then you can also automatically connect this form to an automation, which is one of the information that we're going to talk about. So I would hit update, right? And then publish. It's just a test. and I would take the embed code and copy it and put it onto my website. So that's how I would do that. So that's it for forms. So now we're gonna jump ahead since well we were already starting to talk about this. So I mentioned like sequences and automations. Again, depending on what CRM you're using, that could be the same thing or they could be two separate things, right? So that's why I'm just putting this in here like this. So automations, so right, this is sequences. That's for like the sales and service professional. This is for marketing. So workflows are going to be the most common one, which is when we were on that form, right? We can set it up that, hey, once someone opts in, we're going to put them into this workflow. And this workflow is then going to send follow-up emails, right? They'll get a confirmation email immediately. We can set it up to like if then condition and logic. Again, that's a little more advanced, so I'm going to try not to get too deep into that, but here's an example, right? If the lifestyle stage is a subscriber, they're going to check if they filled out this form. If they didn't, they're going to get nurture email 1. If they did fill out the form, they get nurture email 2, right? This is just a way to show you how it works, and workflows are really awesome. They work really well. I haven't had any issues with them as well. Okay, so now the next thing that I said in my video is we're going to use tags, but HubSpot doesn't necessarily have that. It's not as simple as the other CRMs that I've seen. A lot of times they all have like a tag category. This one doesn't. So again, these are not real contacts. This is a test account that came with. But what I would do instead is really focus on like they have the properties like I was talking about before, like object properties, and this is the contact property. Excuse me. So what I would do is I would want to make sure my life cycle stage is really up to date and it makes sense, right? Like if I'm just trying to build my list, to me, a subscriber is someone that, right, they just build a list. You're building a list, they opt in, they probably wanted to get something for free. It could be a lead too, that's another possibility. So I would just say instead of using tags, I would definitely want to make sure my life cycle stage or even the lead status would be updated. So I would probably at least start with this as far as the details go, and then you can kind of change that as well. But so since you don't necessarily have tags, that's what I would use instead. Okay. And now the last thing that I talk about are reports. So HubSpot is very robust with their reports. Um, these reports are that I'm even about to show you are more like it can get very robust. If you want to know how many salespeople have, I'm sorry, if you have a sales pipeline and you want to know how many people have had a call in the past 7 days, right? You have to build a report for that. Their reports are very extensive and they're really good. What I would say just for emails though, and like your forms and your numbers and stuff like that, I would just go to the emails because then you will see the stats right there, which is a lot easier to do than to try to go to these reports. These reports are like you generally have to create custom reports for a certain information that you're using. But if you're just using the marketing piece and you just want to know what's my open rate, what's my click through rate, right? Go to the email specifically when it gets sent out and you'll see the stats there. The same for landing pages. Again, I don't have any landing pages, but when you come here, it's and you click on it, it's going to have a list here, and you click on it, and then it's going to show you, oh, this amount of people clicked on it, right? It gives you the numbers from there specifically, and the same with forms, right? So for HubSpot, again, it's a little different, right? You see the view, submission rate, and submissions. This is how it would look like. So since we're just focused on the marketing piece, go to exactly where you want to go, right? Like the emails, the landing page, the forms, and get the inform and get the data from there because it's going to show up there. In HubSpot, you use reports when there's like specific information that you really want to know that's outside of here. The most common thing that I have seen in my experience that I've built reports for is like, especially when people is like for the sales pipeline is knowing, hey, this is, like I said, how many book calls, how many actually closed, how many. It's just easier to look at it through the reporting function because they'll just give you a number versus trying to go through here and trying to go through the deals and trying to count. It's just a lot easier that way. Okay. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you like this content and you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe my channel so you can be notified when new content is released. I release a new video every week. Until next time.